Mayor
call.
Akers,
Here.
John Barley,
Here.
Jay Martin, Robert Melberg,
Here.
Brandon White,
Yep.
Donnie Yeske,
Here.
Kenny Longa.
Here.
The minutes are from the February 27th meeting. Mayor Greta Akers called the meeting to order with Brandon White, John Barley, Robert Milberg, Jay Martin, and Donnie Yeske present. Kenny Longa arrived at 7:30 p.m. A motion to accept the minutes was made by Brandon White and seconded by John Barley. Motion to accept the treasurer's report was made by Jay Martin and seconded by John Barley. Motion to pay the bills was made by Brandon White and seconded by Jay Martin. Chief Scott Woods emailed the police report to everyone, and Chief Tom Rogers gave the fire department report. Public comment. Vince Moretti was present and spoke to the council about his home water filters. Stephen Bowers explained the problems right now at the water plant. The hydrants need flushed, the aquifer needs to bring water levels back up, and there has been a drought which brought the aquifer levels down. Old business. The fire department ordinance was discussed by council. A motion was made by Jay Martin and seconded by Robert Milberg to pay $5 per member for the fire department members who attend the monthly meetings. Brandon White, yes. Donnie Yeske, no. John Barley, yes. Jay Martin, yes. Kenny Longa, yes. Motion carried. The employee handbook was again tabled until the next meeting. Jay Martin is still reviewing it. The Finance Committee will schedule a meeting to discuss contract labor. Oak Street water issue was discussed. The time has passed for the residents to be hooked onto rural water. Clerk Lynch will call and check on the progress with the hookups. Monroe Street lift station repairs have begun and are progressing. New business. The employee Christmas bonuses were not discussed in the regular city council meeting until now. Mayor Akers asked the council to vote on the matter tonight. A motion was made by Brandon White to give the Christmas bonuses. No other council members seconded the motion. The motion died for lack of second motion. The city employees will not receive a Christmas bonus. The city backhoe cylinders have been replaced, but it still needs additional repairs. Brandon White made a motion to accept Martin Equipment's price of $3,097.02 to make the repairs needed. Donnie Yeske seconded the motion. Half will be paid from water and sewer, and half will be paid from general fund streets. All yes. Repairs to North Street Culvert were discussed. The water jetter needs repaired. Brandon White will get prices on repairing the jetter. Casey's have approached the city about being able to sell liquor at 6 o'clock a.m. A motion was made by Robert Melberg and seconded by Brandon White to amend the hours to 6 o'clock a.m. All yes, motion carried. The oil and chip list has been prepared and submitted to Prairie Engineers. A motion was made by Jay Martin and seconded by Brandon White to approve the replacement of the City Hall roof by Chenoweth Construction. The city will pay half and the township will pay half. All yes, motion carried. The sewer mains will need cameraed in 2018 to show where any repairs are needed. Mayor Akers will follow up with getting more information on this process. Dale Walter will be called back for the season. Mayor Akers will call him. There was no executive session. A motion to adjourn was made by Brandon White and seconded by Robert Milberg at 8:45 p.m.
I need a motion to accept the minutes as read.
Yeah.
John?
Yeah.
Second? Bob? Brandon?
Yep.
Donna?
Yes.
Bob? Kenny? John? Jay? I gotta use Kenny. Treasurer's report. Any questions on the treasurer's report?
I have one. Are we eventually going to get maybe the fire department subscriptions
They weren't broken out.
added yet? Eventually, can we get that added
Yeah.
in?
I'll add that as a
Actually, there's
category.
no-
We have not received any yet.
So, yeah, okay.
I did add fire subscription expense because the mailing, but I have not added the other.
Okay.
Which, I'm like, is that part of the, was that the
That was in the
disbursements?
bills
Was that
to pay.
To be paid now? Oh, I thought,
Yes.
okay, good.
Yeah, I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report as it is.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Brandon?
Yep.
Donna?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Kenny?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Jay? Bills. There's a bill in there from Benton and Associates that's going to be pulled for right now because it shouldn't have been put in there because we've got to wait till the funds actually come because that's what we've got that grant for. Remember whenever we submitted?
$20,000.
So, yeah, so we're going to pull that out until we receive the funds. So that won't go forward as of
Becky,
right
we
now.
need to check to see when that
Yeah,
gets
we just got to watch for
deposited.
that deposit to come in because we're just waiting on that.
You just pay it once it comes in.
Yeah, we'll pay it once it comes
Is it
in.
in
But
general fund?
Water,
Water and
yeah.
sewer.
water and sewer.
It was in water.
Water,
Okay,
sewer.
so we can take 10,000 off that total.
Yeah.
The 18K.
Right. Okay, does anybody have any other questions on the bills other than that? Need a motion to approve the bill.
I'll make it.
Second? Kenny? Brandon?
Yep.
Donna?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Kenny? John?
Yes.
Jay? Police report, everybody got the police report in your email?
Did you get it, Kenny?
I think I deleted it.
Well, it doesn't do you no good then if you deleted it once you did it.
Okay. That's close
As long as
enough.
you read it.
I trust you.
He's
I'm
He's,
worried-
he's,
I'm not worried
he's
about
doing a
it.
lot.
No.
I think the one question that he had on the police report is he's kind of, there's a couple properties right now that he's kind of in limbo on as far as what to do because he's talked to them and one of them is actually supposed to be having a dumpster delivered in the next couple days. So if that happens, then it's kind of a moot point, but he wants to know what to do if that doesn't happen and they don't get cleaned up.
Call him or me or Scott and have us go drive a bulldozer through it.
Well, okay. But
Bob's
what do you,
correct. Write the ticket.
right,
All you can do.
an actual ordinance ticket? Okay, that's what he just, I thought so, but I wanted to make sure before we move forward. Okay. All right, fire report.
Tom's not here. It should have been in your folder right there. Sorry.
I didn't even know.
I buried it in your
there's-
papers.
Okay,
Yep.
fire report, let's see,
Is
there's,
this now missing time?
well, there's a lot of people sitting, sorry. Let's see, looks like 8 calls total for March, Witt fire calls 0, other fire calls 2, EMS calls 2, other 4, 226 at 559, a ground cover fire at 360 West Franklin Street in Irving, and at 4 p.m. ground fire cover at North 24th Avenue by Nokomis Rock Quarry, 3M with Nokomis Fire District. All right, public comments. Gary Yeske.
Yeah, I got a house that I own on First Street, and I had a water leak underneath, and I was just wondering if I could get the sewer knocked off of that. I mean, there's an average, it's an average about $100 a month, which I think is too high. I think I still got a leak there, but we'll deal with that after this here. We decide what we're going to do here. And also, that meter, from my understanding, is there's one main or one line running to 2 meters. The meters is in front of Shirley Carnes' house, and I'm wanting to replace that water line to my house, which is 219, and I'd like to get that meter moved over in front of that property, because the water line runs under her property, on her property.
Well,
I mean, there's still got to be a leak there, or I got a bad meter, because I can go there and watch that meter, and that little white dial will be moving, then it'll just stop for 30 seconds, then it'll move just a little bit again. So I've either got a small leak or a bad meter, But I still want to change that water meter and put it out in front of that house and get it off her property. Or off the water line out from under her property.
Okay, as far as the past bill goes, let's talk on that first. The precedence has always been that we don't, I mean, it's always been, it's established that we don't forgive because you can't tell the difference. That's just always what that's what it's been.
Tell the difference of what?
Of how much is leaked and how much went into the sewer. You can't, how do you know?
Where did the water go?
Well, yeah, but how do you know how much was leaked and how much wasn't?
Well, I know what it's the water. I know the bill before that, the month before that. Was she used 7890, and this time she used 19950.
Well, it's only a couple thousand more.
No,
No, it's a lot more.
9,000 more.
15 to 19.
19 to 10. Read it again. What do you got?
yeah, about 9,000 more.
19 subtract 15 is
19,
4,000.
19.
That's where I was at. Oh, that's, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was going on there.
That's about 4,000.
Without rounding it off.
Better not run.
No, it was 10,000.
Think
I was going on the dollar.
He said 15.
Well, and
15,990.
Read it, Gary. I think it
The
says
next one was
10,
19,890.
okay, that's, I mean, we're not going to quarrel over the difference in that because that really doesn't have a bearing on it. The fact is that precedence was, and this has always been, that anytime anything has come forward, that any past water bills, they can just make payment arrangements and that, but we can't forgive because it kind of got into the same thing going back in history. It came down to the same thing with people with their pools and people watering their gardens and everything else like that. How do you know? And now we can't go and read people's meters whenever they're filling their pool. Well, they can't read their meters, and I'm not we can't send out a guy every 2 minutes whenever people are filling pools or watering their garden to read their meter to see how much they're not using in the sewer. So there's not a forgiveness of that. But
Well, I know the bill last time was $107 or $108, and this time it's $178. And there's a woman and 2 little kids live in that house. And I was the one to fix the water leak under the house, and I know it didn't go in the sewer. I pumped it out on the ground, but I thought,
What's the cost of the sewer? What's the cost of the sewer, Gary? There's a Brook Island bill.
I'm just gonna throw this out there right now because if you're gonna go into all that, you got to remember that we have not done that in the past. And if you go back, if you want to do it moving forward, we can set that precedence moving forward that if there's a water leak that we can adjust. But if you go back, then you're going to open up a can of worms because everybody else that has had a leak in the last whatever is going to be standing on our doorstep going, I had a leak and I had to pay. I just had a guy pay $1,000 for his leak.
well, I thought, I mean, I know that they took care of people's sewer before. I know that for a fact.
We took care of one gentleman. He was over the road, and I agreed to it because he drives, nobody's in the house. He was over the road. He was gone. We had our big main water break, and when the water came back on, somehow it popped something, and he had a water leak. So he had a major bill. His bill was $1,185. The man came and still paid $996.13. We forgave him $196 of that. And you know that he didn't sit and run water and he didn't run the sewer and none of that. But he still had to pay it because that is just the way it's supposed to be. I mean, that's just the way the precedence that it has been.
Okay.
And we forgave him that little bit
All right.
because he wasn't there. But like I said, it's up to council.
I mean, I don't want you to do anything different for me. If that's the way it is, just leave it the way it is. But like I said, I do want to get that meter moved out in front of that house. Because it's on some, the water line is under somebody else's property.
Oh, I can just, and we can do that, right? Whenever they move it, so
I've
if we
got
can.
4 meters on my property.
Right. Yeah. Well, if he wants to move his, yeah.
That's on First Street.
But he's
There's
wanting
2
to
meters right
fix
there.
it.
Yeah, Shirley
He's got to go on
Farms.
somebody else's property.
But I'm trying to think where the main is there.
He's trying to get it just because it runs in front of his house anyways. He's just going to try to do a direct line right there, and then it's in his yard and it's right there. So it's, I mean, you know, if he's wanting to hook it in, then that's it. And then Stephen goes down there and hooks it into the thing. I mean, that's not.
Better than finding time to do it, there shouldn't be.
Like I said, I'd like
I
to
don't have any
see that
problem with
moved.
them
It's
changing the
underneath
meter.
her property.
Yeah, I would. I mean, it would just be you guys would run it, and then he could. I mean, we could send. He would have to be the one to connect it, or you would have to have a licensed plumber, one or the other. Yeah. So I mean, that's. But I don't think that's an issue at all.
I'm telling you right now, I'm swimming with trying to get things done.
Okay, I understand that.
It's not gonna get done tomorrow, so.
Okay.
Means that we just got
Is that-
lane.
Is that okay with everybody else?
Yes, fine with me.
Agree that to allow Gary to go ahead and do that to his property. Okay. Anything else, Gary?
Nope.
Okay. Envision Witt.
Everybody here? All right, Peyton Tester, it's you. Can you stand up, please, as a senior at Hillsborough High School and Montgomery County CEO member. What is your project?
I have Sky High Photography, which is a drone business I run. It goes around, takes aerial photography of farms, actual farm ground, houses that people want to get, pictures of their houses are a lot cheaper than flying
Tell me
airplanes.
his cheeks are.
So that's what we do.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I do.
As a fourth-year honor student, varsity athlete and leader for Hillsborough High School, Section 28 FFA star
Yep, that's me.
in agriculture and state FFA degree. What does that mean?
So I have there's the state and American degree. You can't get your American degree in FFA until you're in college. So I have my state this year as a senior, and I plan to get my American degree I think first year of college. Right.
And you recently been named the state winner of the what?
So I won state in agri services. I asked this past weekend, last Saturday in Champaign, and I find out if I win star this June at the state convention. So I already won one. I'm going for the second.
If you win star, what does that mean?
It pretty much means I'm the biggest. We do record books, okay? And I have a company that do my record books. And I guess I have the best record books in the state.
That's awesome. Star you get on top of the Christmas tree?
I guess, yeah.
So,
All right, here, you gotta come here and stand between me and Jay so we can get a nice pretty little picture. Wait a minute, you have to come down here. Scoot over the stool.
all right, Peyton, we wanted to give you from Envision Witt,
Okay.
just a recognition for what you've done.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
He's little compared to his dad.
Stool to get her head in the picture.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Morgan Aquar, you're next. Morgan is a senior at Hillsborough High School, Montgomery County CEO member. What is your project?
I run Mac Apparel. It's just a t-shirt business that I personalize any t-shirt or decals that anybody wants. So it's not as cool as Peyton's, but I don't have a drone or anything.
What you do will be seen everywhere.
Yeah.
You take pictures of your work.
Yeah.
You're at an FFA for 2 years, volleyball and basketball for 4 years, and softball for 1 year. We would like to present to you this recognition.
Thank you.
Just a t-shirt. It's never say the word just.
No, never say the word just. Okay. That one this way too. Okay.
Something else that Peyton has that no other kids his age have is better in a school CDL license.
That is true.
And last but not least, Maria Cox. Can you stand here? Maria is a senior at Nokomis High School and Montgomery County CEO member. Your project is?
I have a DJ service called the UME DJ, where my playlist is your request.
It's so good.
So you have about 50,000 words a day you need to get in. Is that why you did a DJ service?
I just really like music.
Oh, okay.
I communicate with people well, and I just like to have fun. So.
You are president of both the student council and senior class, is that correct?
Yes,
Good job. Taking courses in accounting, business law, and employability skills to develop needed skills for managing a business. Now, is this all kind of like college prep stuff?
Yeah.
Interviewing the interviewer.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of high school classes that kind of get ready for college. So I took all of those my junior year, so I'm ready to go for
So many
college.
credits you going to take with you to college?
Just 2.
2 credits?
2 credits. Yeah. Okay.
Better than having none.
Better than right.
We give you this to
Okay.
recognition of your accomplishment.
You get one, that's fine. Wow. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Just in case there's not enough room.
Yeah, I get the time. Well, I don't know.
You do whatever you gotta do.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a crew. Smile. Okay. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having us. Thank you. Thank you so much. You are so you don't need to stay. Are you sure? You're okay.
You know what you need to
Most of the high schools have to do that. Meeting.
See you at.
They get points for it.
Yeah, but they weren't going to come to Witt. People couldn't come to Witt, they had to go to Hillsborough.
TOI.
Oh, that's right, you told me. They couldn't come here.
Third
Yeah.
city council
I just think that's absurd. If they live in Witt, then they should be able to come to any council.
It's like that early meeting, it's like
Who was
15.
that? Was it the teacher, one of the teachers that said that? Okay. Is that there?
Oh, I don't know.
Look at me. She's retired now. It's a gift certificate, right?
Gift certificate?
$10 gift certificate to
Okay,
cases.
plaque, but it's a gift
They
certificate.
got them some gas money. All right, moving on. Next public comment, Chris Etling.
I guess I let my curiosity get the best of me, but at the last meeting, I was under the impression that about the contract labor everybody was talking about was that Hillsborough does this and they have a list of contractors and hourly, what they charge, like hourly rates to call and stuff.
No, not hourly rates. They have a list. They do have a list of all their vendors. I never said hourly rates.
Well, you guys was discussing hourly rates, but you're saying they have a list of all their contract labor? Okay, why? I met with Brian Sullivan and I talked to him because I was curious about it, and they don't have a list. And he said if anybody had any questions, he'd be more than glad to answer them. But what they do in Hillsborough is all their contractors that's in the town, like plumbers, electricians, the way Hillsborough used to do it was they did like a yearly thing. They would have like, say HVAC for instance, they would have like bakers do the maintenance, and then Hiller would do equipment change out if something went bad, and that was for the whole year. And he said the problem was they didn't think it was fair because some people didn't get as much work as the next guy. So what they do now is they got all their contractors that they use in town. They don't go out of town. And if anything's over $20,000, they let every contractor bid it. They actually make them bid it. They ask them to bid it. So he said what they do now is they just, if air conditioner's broke, they call Hiller. The next time they would call Baker. Vice versa, they do the same thing between like Larla and Russ. But they don't actually have a list. They actually just go off of their local contract. And they don't buy out of town. He told me that they had this discussion about Walmart. They shop local unless they don't have that product in that town. They don't allow any city official for the city to go out of town and purchase any product or material unless they don't have it in Hillsborough.
They do have a list because what they use that list for is also when they have the people that came in to work on Eagles Inc.
He told me that.
And so they
But that
do
wasn't
have,
their list. He told me the only list they made,
It is
I'm just
their
telling you what he said, Dawn.
I know,
so-
I've talked to him too.
Okay, well, I talked to him 45 minutes. He said the only time they ever made a list was the EPA come in to clean up Eagles Inc. They said, we need a list of 5, because they was from Oklahoma, I guess, they didn't know anybody. And they said, we need at least 5 contractors in each profession for everything. And they said, well, we don't have that many in town. So they went out to a 20-mile radius of Hillsboro and got them a list and gave it to them to hire, and they still used every local guy. But he said that's the only time they ever had a list was for that EPA cleanup at Eagles Inc.
I know they have a list. That's what he told me, was that they have a list. So whether it's that list or different list, and that's all we're trying to do here is just compile a list of our
Well, the
local
reason I'm
people.
asking, because I knew you guys were talking about contract labor and like hourly rates. Did I misunderstand that?
Prevailing wage, right?
Prevailing wage rate, yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to say hourly rate wouldn't make any difference, because it'd be prevailing wage is what they'd be paid for the
Correct.
job they're doing. So hourly rate would mean anything.
No, you're right.
Okay, I misunderstood. I thought that's what you guys were talking about.
Is that all, Chris? All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, old business. Oh, I guess that's it from public comments. All right, old business, municipal tax. Employee handbook.
Did you get an email from me? Did you two get an email from me?
No, about
Handbook.
what?
The handbook.
I got something that said that we need to put it in discussing executive. That's all I've gotten from you.
Okay.
Oh, I know.
I think that's all I think I got it too.
Well, I just sent it to you two last night at 1:30.
Oh,
No.
I didn't get that.
It wasn't on my computer this
Nope.
morning.
Don't have it?
I have it. Well, I mean, I have it done.
I pulled all my emails off the city.
So you
this
sent
morning.
it to us
I
by
sent it to
email?
you, yeah, to have it ready for tonight, to
Oh.
have it printed, and
Yeah, no,
I don't.
I didn't get, no.
Me
I did
neither.
not
you
get
didn't
it.
get it. All right.
I got several, I got several emails.
Because it's ready to go.
It's just an employee handbook.
It was pretty impressive, if I might add.
Well, why don't you go ahead and send it, and then we can send it out to everybody.
I was going to say, could you send it now?
Well, I'm wondering if something is wrong, because right before I left home, I thought, I'm going to send it to myself just in case. And I don't have it.
Yeah,
That's what I've been looking
I
for.
didn't get it.
Because what I did was...
So if anything, do you have it on like a thumb drive or something? You can bring it up and then you can download it to the,
I got the old one done, and I went off of this, and I retyped the whole thing, and added certain things that we had talked about adding. And then I thought, well, I've got to add, there's a sexual harassment section and all that business life. I looked this up, and I thought, well, I like what it said. I thought, I'll just copy it. I got in there and I found it, I like better than one I did. So I changed all the wording from company to city to, employer was city of Witt, that kind of thing. It's about 30 pages of...
was it on a thumb drive or something?
I can get it on thumb drive.
I was
I
gonna
just
say,
don't
what-
understand why you didn't
Yeah, I didn't get it. So can you just bring it up and then she can just load it and then she can send it out via through, her email maybe, but when try it,
'Cause
and
really all
send
we
it out
would
to everybody
do
to review for
Is review it.
everybody look at it this month and
Because
then.
in it is just suggestions. It's certainly not in concrete.
Well, that's what
as
it-
to
that-
what,
that was
and that was the point.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to make some decisions on it, where we are from the standpoint of, there's just a few things in it. One of the things it did not have in, and it was a generic template. So I'm assuming once Chris reads it, he'll want to
Yeah, we'll have to send it to Chris
change
once
it.
we.
But I apologize.
No,
I
it
sent
didn't.
it.
It didn't. So let's try.
I really did.
Oh. Why don't you go ahead and bring that up and then she can email it out to everybody and then everybody can review it this month and then we can discuss it again next month.
Well, you'd have to review it anyway.
It's
so-
got to be reviewed. That way it gives everybody
Does
time to
everybody have
just read
email?
it,
You have email?
go through it, have
Yeah,
questions,
okay.
red line it, do whatever you need to, and then we can come back and discuss it again, now that he's got it to that point. And then we can also forward it on to Chris so that he can review on that side of the house, legal side, and say, legally we can do this, or legally we can't. And we can get it, then we can go from there. So we'll table that again till next month.
Well, it's not tabled. You're going to have to take action on
Yeah.
it, obviously, next time.
Yeah.
It's just
So we're gonna move it to new business.
Unless you want to have a
Yes.
I would.
special meeting to get it over with, but it has to go to the lawyer anyway, so.
And that's gonna take a little while, so let him, yeah, because he takes a little
It'll take a
while.
month or two.
Okay, we'll move that to new
Yeah.
business.
Yep. Okay, outside contract labor.
When we had our meeting, the intent was to compile a list as needed. We agreed on verbiage that was something similar to any business who would like to be on the vendors list for the city of Witt, please contact the city clerk with current credentials, licenses, bonding for service provided. Now, we did have wage rates in here, but to your point, we don't need to put that in there. So,
Maybe you did hear that. Kenny said prevailing wage.
well, we talked about prevailing wage as well that night
Yeah,
too. So,
right. A couple
so
things that-
anyway, what our point was is that you can put this in the minutes so that the paper, anybody that reads this, will call you with what they're able to do.
And that excludes anybody that we already have contracts with, that we use. We don't need to have, they don't have to resubmit,
This
right?
this doesn't even mean that they'll be used. It's
Yeah, right.
on file in case.
That's correct.
So I would just incorporate that with the minutes.
Yeah. And so when it gets in the paper, then whoever reads it wants to be part of it can send in their
So
stuff.
we're gonna use all the local.
Yes, Chris?
There was one thing I did forget that I didn't know, because I've done work for Litchfield, Hillsborough, all of them, even Nokomis, but I was told that, because Hillsborough got an audit a year and a half ago on this prevailing wage deal, and you can actually, anything over $500 you have to send a 1099. They got this thing now, I guess the state allows you to do this for city municipalities. If you have a project that you want to do, and it's not over, I think he said $8,000 is where they cap it, that they don't have to charge prevailing wage. The city does not have to pay that. They just put them down as a 1099 type, like they're an employee as a subcontractor.
Oh, okay.
And they get by, they do like painting project stuff, cleaning windows, whatever, and they'll hire them for like a 3 or 4 day project, and they don't have to pay that. I didn't know that, so.
We'll have to check. Let me see if I can ask Chris about it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, why do you?
I think he said it was $8,000 and then after that. they-
I thought you had to pay prevailing wage.
No, not on everything.
No.
You have a threshold,
No.
but I don't know what that threshold is.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
For that info. We'll check Whitey on that one. All right, Monroe Street Lift Station. Brandon?
It's complete as far as I know, isn't it, Stefan? Other than building the house on top.
Couple little details, gotta build a lid over the valve vault's in place, and
Yep.
gotta seal up a couple of pipes and seal between the wet well and the valve vault, but other than that, it's.
You gonna, what you said, tomorrow you're gonna try to bring it online?
Brandon's got pictures.
It's all online.
That's what
Oh, it's
Brandon.
running. It's
Show,
on there.
running
show them.
for-
I didn't forward everybody pictures. Brandon's got the pictures. I didn't forward everybody. It looks awesome.
It looks
He's
really
done an
good.
awesome job.
Yeah.
He has saved us lots and lots of money. I just think it's awesome what he's
Yeah.
done.
So you're getting close to finishing.
Yeah, just
There's
little,
There's a pump
Few
down
little
there.
minor
You scroll to
details.
the right, I think.
Still has to build the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
still got a rag problem.
Oh my God.
No.
Yeah, no,
Had to
I
reverse
figured that.
one yesterday over there. Maynard had to reverse one at the township today.
Was it a blue air marker? I didn't miss it.
Oh my God, Chris. don't.
Reinforced hand towels. Forgive me.
Hey, Chris, you don't want to claim that one
No.
because we've been looking for that for a long time. You don't want to claim that.
There ain't no way of finding.
Thank you, Stefan, for all the work that you did on that because that's awesome. I haven't been able to get over there like I wanted to, but I can't drag a little one over there. And,
You know what, I'll
it's
figure out
nasty
camera
weather.
in there.
They took good pictures.
Yeah, I got good
Because
pictures.
they would have them in their line,
Okay.
probably, before they get over.
Anything else on old business that we need to discuss? Hey,
They got small.
hello? Hello?
No.
Anything else on old business that we need to discuss? Okay, moving on. New business. And we need to renew our line of credit at the bank. I actually went and extended it because we were supposed to do it last month, and they forgot to tell us, and we forgot to ask, and there you go. So we extended it for a month. The principal is for $40,000, but we owe 20.
We still
It should be less than that.
20, but he said Jim recommends us going ahead and lowering our line of credit if it's all right with him to about 25,000, because we honestly really don't. And it's only just so that we don't have a big line of credit out there. But he said if we ever need more, obviously he can give us more, but just so that there are that debt, whatever, and all that good stuff.
In case of
emergency things that we've got it. But since we're down, he recommends us dropping our line of credit, and plus with the backhoes and operators. So
we just need a motion.
I need a motion as far as how you guys want to do
the line of credit.
Because that's our
Is that what this
yes.
money was for?
No. The backhoe is our collateral for it. That's collateral at the
Yes.
bank.
Okay.
Collateral.
That's what I want to use that word.
And if you low it, he said it would fit more into what
Into
the back
what it is
worth.
and everything.
Yeah.
Just so to cover everybody.
And this is what we're paying $500 a month on,
Yes.
right?
We were paying $1,000, weren't we?
No, it was like we just
Well, we
randomly
just
were
started.
putting money towards it.
Okay.
Now
Well, we did
we're
3,000.
Established 500.
500 every month, regardless.
Put 3,000 toward it in what, February?
We put 3,000, and we did put 1,000, and then we put a little bit more. I can't remember if it was 2, but now we've got it on schedule 5 each month.
Because we were going a couple months without paying, so we wanted to make sure we started just doing it. Okay, so I need what's the motion, Jay, to lower the line of credit?
To lower line, renew it at a lower line.
Renew line of credit and also lower it.
25,000, right?
Yep.
And lower to 25,000. Okay.
Okay, that's Jay motion. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Brandon?
Yep.
All right, Brandon.
Yep.
Donna?
Yeah.
Bob? Kenny?
Yes.
John? Jay?
Yes.
All right. City annual audit.
You have from Whitey Patton, his basic letter of rates, and then
I thought he was supposed to be here
also.
tonight.
No,
Oh,
he just had.
Okay, well that's the audit proposals then.
You just have to get somebody to do the audit because April will be our month to start doing the audit.
Right.
That's our fiscal year.
We have two proposals. Patton has submitted his, and it looks like his audit fee will be $6,600. Modified cash basis.
Well, what that means is that
Not accrual.
it's not accrual.
It's not accrual.
Yeah.
It's part of it's accrual, part of it isn't. The state comptroller has rejected cash basis audits, though they were accepted for decades. Now they do a modified cash, and for some reason that doesn't get flagged. So, and that's what he's been doing is a modified cash.
And then KEB has submitted their proposal of for this year would be $6,500, next year $6,750, and then the following year would be $7,000 if we chose them. So we just need to decide.
So what? Okay, one is what is it? How much?
Whitey is $6,600.
And then KEB is 65.
65 this year. But Whitey has been, I mean, he was 66 last year, 66 this year. So he's not,
Okay.
I mean, he pretty well stays pretty, I mean, he was 62, 62, 63, 63, then 66, so.
The only reason I would recommend that we change, not that we should, I'm just talking about this, is that when someone has been doing it for a long time, it's easy to miss stuff. And sometimes fresh eyes is good. But I don't know that it's worth $100 difference.
Well, then it goes up the next 2 years too.
Yeah. Because he would like.
Yeah,
It's automatically
typically-
KEB is already telling us.
That's it.
Yeah, they're already telling
They
us. they're
typically want a
jumping.
3-year
They want a
commitment
three-year
because it
commitment.
takes them 3 years to get to know the
And like I
business.
said,
That makes
he
sense.
stays pretty, he doesn't really.
So,
Yeah, but ain't that like anything else? You say, well, if you want our business, you're gonna do it for this, this, or this.
No,
Gotta
I
have an auditor.
I think they just say that, they'd probably tell you that's what it is, to
Hey,
be honest.
you can go to the store and negotiate your price.
You go ahead and you negotiate with,
Do that.
you go to Walmart, you negotiate prices. So,
And he keeps it the same.
well, that's what I said, he was
2 years.
62, so he seems like he stays with me.
Well,
I
agree with the
I like
fresh
your,
eyes.
I like your idea of the fresh
Or we
eyes,
ask
but
questions, you
it's
know,
only
just
gonna
to ask
cost,
more
like he's
questions.
gonna be at 66. So I mean, it's only gonna go to 7,000, so it's only another $400.
$400.
500. Yeah,
I'm okay with either one, but again, I just this really.
They're from Litchfield, they're out of Litchfield. Did she come into Litchfield?
pretty good
Pretty
too.
good convert, they are.
There are a lot of Gatsby regulations that are new, and there's even more coming. For instance, for the county, what we have to report this year is for all the TIF agreements that we have, what did you give up in that TIF agreement that you might have gotten had you not given up the TIF agreement? You have to
Let's see what they
put that
serve.
inside.
Let me see, let's go City Staunton. See who the current clients are
I
on.
was able-
Okay, so we need, basically, need a motion as to which one you, I mean, need somebody to make a motion as to who they want to,
Excuse me.
yes.
Before you make a motion, do you want to wait and see what other people might come in? You might have some local people that's going to put their name in. That's what you've been discussing about.
We don't have the time to do that.
What other auditors are there?
The city's fiscal year ends the 15th of April.
Okay, that's fine. You just talking about asking other people, and then all of a sudden now you're voting right.
They didn't
it's a
really put
timing
it, we
issue.
didn't put it in the paper for bids. I think just, there was correspondence from 2 different people, but it was not
Normally just had
advertised.
Patton. We've had Patton since at least 2013. I don't know how.
We haven't, I
Well,
mean, they just
we
always
could
did it.
entertain somebody else if it
Yeah, you can
wasn't a timing issue.
It is a timing issue.
It's a timing
Yes.
issue at this point.
Now read this, if anybody read this, it says these fees are based on using the modified cash basis of accounting for financial statements as used in the past years. If the city changes the accounting to generally accepted accounting principles, we reserve the right to modify the fee charged.
Okay, and what that means is that if they go to the GAAP principles, there is a whole lot of end of the year journal entries that have to be made. Now, obviously, we're not going to be that big,
Right.
but all that is at some fee
He
per
says the same
hour.
thing.
He says the
He says the same thing. He says the fee would be modified if the conversions were necessary.
You know,
By anybody.
Yeah, that's everybody's got to
Conversion
throw
anyway
that.
from accrual to cash.
yeah, it's
So we have to go with these for 3 years then? Is that what they're going to want?
they're going to want a
They would
3-year
have to sign
commitment.
a 3-year commitment.
They want a
Yeah.
3-year commitment, which is not uncommon, just because it takes that long to learn the business. So I understand why they want that. So
Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody wants to.
somebody needs to make a
Flip the
motion.
coin.
Well, it needs to make a difference. I mean, you guys need to understand, it needs to make a
Let's see.
difference in one way. I mean, you guys, all 6 of you have to make the decision, and so it has to make a difference for all of you guys. If you want, you can go with somebody new, or we can stay with somebody, the same person. It's whatever you guys want.
Well, I agree with Jay. Fresh eyes are good. But with a 3-year commitment, it goes up to $7,000, which is only $400, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just need a motion one way or another. Because as it stands, if there is no motion, then we stay with the same person that we've had. I mean, that's just the way it stays. I mean, honestly, if there's no, if
Well, you got to have an
No,
auditor.
you have to have a motion. You have to at least have a motion. If nobody wants to go with
When we make a
KDP, then
motion, we got to have somebody do the audit. It's a state law. We got to have somebody.
I need a motion.
Now, if we stayed with the same one, and we planned a little better next year,
Yes.
we could entertain and have
Yes. A little sooner.
a little sooner. That
We
way
look at it
would.
maybe in the
that
fall,
way we
start
wouldn't
talking about
have
a next
to-
auditor and changing auditors or something. Maybe, maybe we can look a
You
little
don't
bit.
We
sign
wouldn't be
any
locked-
contract
We
with
wouldn't be
him.
locked into
No.
3 years.
You do not sign a
To
contract
me,
with
I'd say
him.
motion to stay with what we got and look at, we could entertain more people next year.
That's a good idea.
You can advertise it in the paper, or you
Yeah.
can do whatever.
Or-
Okay, Bob made the motion.
I'll second the motion on that one.
Brandon?
Yep.
Donna?
Yep.
Bob?
Yep.
Kenny?
Yep.
John? Jay?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Spring cleanup. I think we really need to look at doing spring cleanup. We did not do one. Yeah, we did not do one last year. Did you give it to me? I wrote one
You
down.
wrote 'em on
I wrote it on my paper.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't do cleanup last year. It cost a lot of, we tabled that, and we stopped doing the going door to door and picking up because that sucks up a lot of time and people don't follow the rules of your area here, and the next thing you know, you drive by and somebody's got crap. So we just put dumpsters. It was $740 the last time that we had, and we used 2 dumpsters.
And we only did it.
3 days. It was like Thursday, Friday.
No, Sean, we only did it what?
2 days.
2 days instead of 3.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday.
I'm sorry.
Greta?
Picked it up on Monday.
We used to do it 3.
There's,
Yeah.
Used to, yeah.
if
When the county reimbursed part
you
of it.
decide to do that, we're gonna have to figure out a place for dumpsters. Cause, the lot around the city shed, Kenny's gonna have a lot of sewer pipe and stuff for the railroad crossing. Between there and then, over by the lift station, gas lift station, over by this crossing. That's all gonna
For
be,
the railroad.
it's gonna be a
track
cluster.
projects.
So if we do this for 2 days, I mean,
There's
is,
a lot of pipe on the one by
Do
Casey's.
we have room over here by in our little triangle we got going on over here?
Not
Put
necessarily.
dumpsters by the recycle? Yes,
can you put it
Sean.
out here?
Well, how long?
Last time you did it in the fall, not in the spring.
Yeah.
And they should be done by then on the tracks early. I mean, if you're gonna do it,
I think they wanted to do it. It was discussed to do it in the spring so that people can get their junk off their yards now instead of waiting till then that way that way we can kind of hopefully get some crap cleaned
Can
up.
it be put alongside here for just the 2 days? Or is it too messy?
Are you talking 2 dumpsters?
Yeah, they're the long dumpsters.
In the end? I mean,
One at a time.
one at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, why couldn't you just?
Well,
put
you
it
got to think of
alongside
some
the
of the things that they set on the side too. You know,
Don't want the
they're-
street.
Oh, yeah, some of them don't put it in there, they
Street
just dump it out
blocked.
on the
I
side.
can't lift it over.
See you
the,
later.
You know,
That's the problem with that. You go to do this and
people come and
You almost
take
need a lot
take advantage
because it might block the street if people
Well,
throw.
and a lot, they could.
Well,
put
it's
up
not
both
something that we
sides.
have to do right now. I mean, once we can wait until we can do it once Kenny Construction gets done with the crossings, and then we
Well,
can
we
do
could
it.
just
You're talking a
set
couple,
date
3
now. We
months.
could say, this is April.
They told me 3 weeks.
April,
Oh
May.
no! When I sat here in the meeting with them, they told me 3 weeks and they'd be
Before
done.
they get started, but the way Bill Whitlow and he explained to
What's
me,
wrong with the other side of the township?
Oh, Scott, it'll
The
be.
gas tax.
he said weather permitting, he said it could
Huh?
be,
The other side of the
He
township,
said it
where
could
the
go
gas
up to
tanks
3
are,
months,
what's
weather
wrong with
permitting.
over there?
is what,
There's not gonna be pipe on that side, they're gonna put pipe on the other side, right?
Fire departments here. Why can't we put it where the little where they got that?
They would.
Let's
Where they got
let's
the.
make either do or don't do it. We'll figure out where to put them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're
I
gonna
agree.
do that. That's what I said. We'll
So,
figure it out.
yeah, let's just decide. Do you guys want to go ahead and do it, and then we can figure out where we can put it? Because I think we can discuss with the fire
I'll make
department,
the
maybe put it in
motion.
front of where they've got their
I'll make the
that little
motion that
building.
we do 2 days
2 days.
Are we going to
to
set
be
dates?
determined.
Or
Well,
dates to be determined.
Yeah,
Okay.
well.
you want to set it
I think,
now?
I think yes, set the dates now.
I think so.
sometime in
Well, and I
May.
was just gonna,
I would think,
Feel like there's something else here, too.
I would say Easter's early.
As long as it's all right with the fire.
I think anytime in the
Middle
middle to the end of April.
April 15th, why don't you do that?
Well, the reason I'm
That day.
saying that is because I was gonna bring up Montgomery County Recycling's doing a computer
Yeah, I've seen that.
recycling.
I've seen that.
Oh,
When is
you don't have
that?
to read it from this.
It's coming up.
It's April 14th.
April 14th.
At Hillsborough.
It's at Hillsborough, but it's all
So when is that?
computers and
When
all
is
that
that?
kind of stuff. It's a
You
Saturday.
gotta make it
So you do it the Thursday
coincide.
to Friday, and then.
So the 12th and 13th. So if we do ours
Really,
the 12th and 13th.
maybe when people
Yes.
were going through their stuff, they take their
They go on
electronic
down there.
here and their other.
So yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah, that would work out.
April 13th and 14th. It's 12th
Now
and
wait,
13th.
the 14th is on a Saturday, so we wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, so 12th and 13th.
12th and 13th,
You're still
okay.
gonna have to find out if the fire people's got something going on themselves, though, right?
What?
Well, that's it.
Well, we just got to decide on location.
We'll figure the
We got to
location.
figure out a
The
location.
location out.
12 and 13.
Training place so the fire department can work fine.
Okay.
Or, you know what, some rocks
That's what
right
we
down there at the landfill, but they'll be dumping shit that shouldn't be.
That'd be-
Okay, so now are you just gonna go with 2 dumpsters altogether? Is about $700.
It was 700 for
What are
2.
you gonna do? You just, when the second one's full, take it away and it's over with? Is that what you do?
Yeah,
Okay, that's what you do then.
that's what you do. When the second dumpster is
Yeah,
full.
they just kind
you
of, they actually, they
brought
dropped
three.
both,
Last time
they
they
dropped
brought
3 and
three.
they took 2 away.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what happened was it was on a Thursday, Friday, so Saturday and Sunday, everybody started bringing stuff, which they weren't supposed to, because people don't go by it anyway.
Can we have them pick
They
it up?
started filling up
Probably
the
won't.
empty dumpster, and the other 2 weren't full, so we had to spend umpteen days loading stuff out of one dumpster into the other dumpsters to get them full, so.
But like
Well, I
having
want
it
to.
through the week,
And just tell them that
people that were,
they gotta pick them up.
don't
I
have an
know.
opportunity
I'm
to
with
use
you,
it.
Bob, on that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's hard whenever people, people
You got
work.
you got a camera now?
That's what I said. I think we just put the camera on the thing, and then we, and if they drop stuff that they shouldn't be dropping, then we got them on video at this point. Then we can say, come back and get your stuff.
Still 12 and 13.
12 and 13th, yeah.
and 2 dumpsters.
Yeah.
And we might say that once the 2 are filled,
Yeah, you
and
did
whoever
announce that.
set
Once
those
the
things,
2 are filled, that's
who do they
it.
get those from?
Randy's
Nothing on the
Roll-Offs,
ground.
Nokomis,
He's
and
got to come get it once it's full because
Yes.
they're on a
so you
pile
don't
of
have the
thing out.
problem of, yes,
You
filling
know
up.
something though, we could
And then
do,
you'll also put that in there as
a
well.
lot of times that stuff
The
don't weigh
computer
nothing.
one.
Take the city
Oh,
back.
this will be in
and-
conjunction with the computer pickup in Hillsborough, that way
Yeah.
you'll
Yeah,
see all
kinda
of
add that
that,
in
you know what I'm
with the
saying?
You can get a lot more in
Oh, I know
that.
you can.
Do what?
Take, you know, because a lot of times that stuff is like old dressers, cabinets, stuff like that, don't weigh nothing. Take the city back and push it down. You take that hose.
I think they do that, yeah. They smash her in there as best they can.
Try to get as much crammed in there as you can.
Maybe
You
we
can
can
get
get
too
the.
much in them. I had one dumpster 27 tons and they couldn't lift it.
Okay,
So if you get the one with the back end swings out and you can walk on it.
yeah.
Well, they're all like that.
Are they? Okay, I know.
I didn't never phone, I didn't have a phone number, but I
just-
did, so I say.
But
That's why all of them are.
most of the time they don't open it.
What's the number can hurt? Not a thing.
Okay,
Depends if it's a
Okay, let's move on.
30 yards.
move on.
Move on.
Tree removal bids, down here,
Hamrock's old
Hamrock's old house, there's a tree that's kind of up in the power lines and stuff. Donna and Kenny went down and looked at
Is that
it.
on Campbell?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're asking to have it cut down, which is on the city property. I do know Chris Hubbard has given a bid and Hal Joyce has given a bid. Chris has contacted the electric company. They're supposed to come and actually look at it and cut out what they can cut out based off of their standard, and then it'll go from there. So, I mean, we've got the bids, but I think it's a hold. I think we need to wait until.
Hey, we got Douglas in town too, don't we? Or not? I've seen out here.
Nobody's
He's not
seen
around.
him
Ain't nobody
for,
seen him.
and he could not provide a current insurance certificate. That's why we quit using him. He did a good job, but the last time, way a couple years ago,
See if they can bring their
Right, they gotta have
bonding.
he never did bring me one.
I'm just gonna throw this one away.
Yeah.
We had, that was the first bid from Chris, was just cutting the tree down and the city guys cleaning it up. And I told him to revise the bids because we just wanted it totally cleaned up. That way our guys don't have to, because it's gonna cost way more because there's $200 difference between just dropping the tree and cutting it up and getting completely rid of it. So we just, well, to have the tree, whoever we decide to do this, but I talked to Chris earlier and he said the homeowner down there is wanting him to carve something out of that tree. Well, if that's the case, then the homeowner can have to pay to have the tree cut down now.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm looking at this.
So we're gonna check with them and find out before we.
So you know,
Yeah, we're gonna pay him to carve it, and then they're gonna pay him to carve it, and he's gonna get paid.
We're gonna pay him to cut it
so we
down.
gotta find, I don't mean to sound like a dick about that, but I mean that's,
You cut the tree down so you can have a car. I got one. I like
Okay, so that's gonna be put on. Okay, that's tabled until next
put
month.
them, in the thing.
I'll just keep them.
All right. Any other new business, Brandon?
Yep, I talked to Heath the other day, and then I just talked to Sean here before the meeting here about when that last city mower was purchased. And you said probably 6+ years.
It was here, I've been on the city for 5, and it was there when I got there. I don't know how
Okay,
long
well-
we had it before that, but
Heath was telling me that there's probably, he said the deck was ripped off of it twice last year, I believe.
it's full of welds, I guarantee
So,
you that, and it doesn't mow level.
We got a price from Generac. Heath went up and got a price from Generac, which is up there at Taylorville. It's the old Trico International dealer. We're waiting on one from Kenny now. Kenny didn't get back to us with the price on one yet. That's what they're proposing. They're going to give us $3,500 for the one that we have.
Is that the big one?
Yes. The zero turn. And it's a gas, correct?
It's a gas with a diesel block. Yeah, the new one,
Right.
the newer one we have is a 48-inch that we do the parks and that with.
Okay. Well, anyhow, the new one will be a diesel with a 60-inch cut. They're going to give us $3,500 for the old one. Then we get a municipality discount of $3,459. That leaves us a balance of $91,53.94. And I would see why the city could not apply for usually Kubota's got 0% financing. Take that $91,53.94, divide that by 60 months, you come up with paying about $150 some a month. Then you could maybe take half of that out of water, half out of the general, because it's going to be mowing the water plant and around town.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we need to wait to get a bid from Kenny. I don't think this is. I think
And he may have sent it this
yeah,
afternoon.
and I
so
want to get a bid from Kenny because Kenny's been nothing but good to me also. So
you want to put it on the agenda
I
for
think let's
next
put
month?
that on the
It's
agenda.
good to get more than one bid if you can.
I mean, I like both places, but I mean, I'm gonna call Kenny tomorrow just to make sure that he knows about that we get that municipality discount.
Wait and see what his price says, and then go up by the way.
I'll call
Probably
him.
buy the car.
No, I'm gonna call him because I might be able to. I'll just call him, raise all kinds of, what with him, and I'll get us better deal maybe. There's some books if anybody'd like to.
Okay, so we'll put that on the agenda for
So yeah,
April.
you can give that to Angel, and then she can put it in.
Have we used them
For next
before?
month.
Finance?
Hold on to
Have we
that.
financed
Everybody
it
make
before?
copies of that, Brandon.
We have not financed
Oh, you
the
guys can have it. I don't
boat.
need it for anything, but here's, we'll just leave all this together.
Can't get
Just give that to Angel, and then she
Take
can
it out.
put it in her stuff for next
And
month.
I'll put nails. And like I said, that may be in the email from this afternoon.
Okay, is there any other new business to discuss?
I have no idea, a bunch.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
Am I allowed to speak, or?
Depends.
I want to thank,
Depends.
I want to thank Bob Milburn. I had a complaint, he got back with me, I know my mother did, he got back with us. I want to thank him for that. I do have a question on, if you go around and look at
Thank you, guys.
this town's getting trashy again, really bad. There's trash blowing everywhere. And I talked to Bob, and I talked to Scott Woods this morning, and he said he had to wait till this council meeting before he could issue a citation.
Right, and that's what I
Okay,
brought
is
up
that
first thing
going to
this
be
morning, and he's
standard
gonna
that he
give.
cannot issue citations on ordinances that we already have without coming through a council? Or is that up to him?
Well, yeah, I was wondering why he had to wait.
I think
Because it was brought up a while back because it was
Somebody
costing
said
us
they
some
want
of
to be
it
a
because
friendly, kinder, not picking on people.
And it also was costing us a whole lot of money because it was the same people, repetitive
You're not gonna get
people
To go
that
to
we were going to court and going to court and going to court for two certain people over and over again, and it was costing legal fees was costing us, thousands of dollars compared to our $150 fine that we were getting back.
Right.
So it
You have
wasn't
ordinances,
feasible.
can't you have that paid to the city?
Yeah, but then it's not something that you can issue him. He can issue them those tickets,
Mm-hmm.
but if they don't pay it, there's no, and then we would have to go back the other way.
Okay,
So I
but
mean, if we could start at
Always
that level.
remember, you're working for the citizens of Witt. What does your taxpayers want to see? Do they want to see a trashy town or town picked up?
Right,
I'd
and
like
that's
to see
what
my
he-
tax money
well-
going towards something a little better, because you can't sell a home in here, you can't do anything if there's trash everywhere.
Well, and he is.
We gotta
He's
have
back.
that, too.
He's back. He's and he's during the day now, so he's knocking on doors again and telling people, hey, you know.
Right. But I just wondered if
because
this
I've
stuff
talked
had
to
to go
him
through
about
the
it.
council
And
first.
it was a lot of stuff that was on him. Yeah. No.
I didn't realize that.
No.
I didn't realize that.
So you can just go write tickets and.
Yes.
Well, you can write tickets, but like
That
she
he
said,
can
then the
write the
next step
city
is to go to
ordinance
the
tickets and
courthouse.
stuff, and then and go from there. And then if it
Yeah.
has to escalate,
I urge
then
you
we'll have
guys
to
to
go
go through
escalate.
your wards
Yes.
and take a look at some of the trash in that, because there's a lot of people complaining.
Yes. Yes. I turned in a.
My yard was
I
terrible. I
agree.
took my sewer up there.
I gave him several
Well, right
people
now it's
too.
been so rainy and nasty.
I know you have, and I've heard it,
and
you know
and
everybody.
he's out there, so he's back out
the
knocking on
weather's
doors
bad right
again.
Yeah, I've got plans to work on mine for sure.
And then, like I said, you know, and hopefully with this April, our cleanup day, maybe some people might take it upon themselves to go and get rid of their junk.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully, that's the plan, hopefully.
I probably picked up 3, maybe 4 or 5-gallon buckets out of ditches, trying to get ditches drained today, of styrofoam cups, plastic pots that you're supposed to have plants in,
All the ditches are
sticks,
full of that.
that people put
Water
in their-
bottles. I mean,
water bottles.
That's just, but that's not, I mean, that's just people that's doing this as they're driving down the
There's a
road.
lot, there's
So
a
you-
lot of it though, Greta, that's sitting in trash cans. We have an ordinance, you're not supposed to have trash cans out until the night before trash service, and they're supposed to be gone. People think dogs and cats just get in them. These birds are pecking the hell out of them, and this trash is blowing everywhere. Go down to Gary Klaus's right now and look. It's everywhere. Clear down 2 blocks in my
So
pond, I'm picking out.
that's supposed to be getting rectified here in the next day
Yeah,
or so.
that's the only thing I say, you know, that's what you're here for, represent your people, and go around your community and take a look at it.
It's bad enough over by Eric Petray that the water was running across the road. The water was clear up to his house. It was running across the road today.
Yeah. But Bob, I did want to thank you. You got back with us, and I appreciate that. That's what,
It took me a while when your mom had called me. I was like,
you didn't know who Donna Ray was.
and then I started thinking. I was
Anyway,
like,
thank you,
know what? I
guys.
remember that.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Sean.
thank you. Okay, Brandon, you said you had something else?
Maynard called me, I guess there's some culverts out at the cemetery.
That need to be replaced?
Tire need a replacement, I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts
Going in the
about it.
driveway, down the road, or?
Yes.
Is it a drain tile?
I don't know what it is, but he said it's getting, do you know where he's talking about, Stefan, or did?
I haven't heard.
He says on the Greek Orthodox side, but he's afraid, I guess,
He says it's
that,
gonna wash away, and he says boiling out of the ground, or,
and somebody step in it and,
Well, there is a tile sewer, not but drainage.
see, they tiled that.
But it's so
Several.
wet. The
Well,
old
there's a
part.
couple of
That
drains
is so
in the
low on that
corners.
side.
On the old section there,
concrete box culvert, I thought he
Who's
said,
on
or something like
cemetery, I
that.
guess,
Where-
we need to go
if
look.
that's
I was
where,
gonna say, what?
Brandon's on
Let's get-
cemetery, are you on cemetery?
I asked Maynard what he thought it was
Okay.
gonna take to fix it.
Jay, Brandon, and John, I think, right?
I think I got it here. Jay, Brandon, and John.
Yeah.
So you 3.
I asked
Give us-
Maynard what he
give-
what
go
he
out
thought,
there and
what
look
he
at
thought
it,
was
go out
gonna
there and
take
check it
to
out.
fix it.
Yeah.
And I just threw the number 3,000 or 4,000, and Maynard said it probably won't cost anywhere near that. Because we don't have to replace, you know, he was just probably talking like PVC pipe or something like that.
We have money in the cemetery fund to fix that. That's what that,
You
we have
have
money in the
money.
cemetery
That's what that
fund
money's for. is-
to fix
the road?
stuff.
I thought it was for just stones and stuff.
No, that's to fix
Internment
anything, to
fee.
fix anything that needs to be done out there, to maintain anything out there in the to keep that cemetery
Internment
up and
fee is
running.
dedicated for maintenance. Yes, Marty Dawson made that.
Is that the
very clear.
$100 one you're talking about
Yes.
that you get on every?
Yes, every grave.
Yeah.
That is dedicated to
We do need to
maintenance.
look at that someday, get that cemetery
Well, we try.
ordinance or rules on it or something.
Yeah, we don't have very much there.
I know.
And we started the internment because Marty Dawson said, you need to start doing this. Well,
Right.
We didn't know.
Right.
You know, and that's what
That's
he
what other
said,
ones are doing.
dedicated to maintenance. Yes.
So we do have money, and then we have a family
have
that
other- yes.
a family that donates money at least twice a year.
Yes.
To the cemetery fund too. So
There's
Well, that's for them.
13,000,
Yes.
I think. And,
Yeah, 13,000.
yeah. So I mean that's what
Like I said, I
I'm
mean,
saying.
that's something that's gonna probably need attention quickly. I mean, it's not something I think it's gonna be able to wait
Well,
until our next.
I mean, you gotta realize all the rain we've had, you know.
And-
I agree with what you're saying,
well,
you
that's what I'm
guys need to
saying.
go out and look at it, but
I
right
mean, I'm
now,
saying I
City of
don't-
Witt is the lowest town in Montgomery County.
and it's
I
very low
swear.
out there. But I think he said some of it was clay and
Really?
concrete where it broke through, so there is a hole.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely need to look at it and see what it is, and if we have to put something over it temporarily until we get in there and fix it. Obviously, we're not going to get in there with no backhoe or anything to be able to do anything right now without tearing the rest out of everything.
you guys wanna
Get
go?
a toe hold on one of them.
Okay, so cemetery committee,
will follow up.
follow up with that and check and come back with your
I'm
recommendation.
gonna go up to, I'll try to stop by the city shed and have Major take me out there.
Yeah, drive out
Show me
there,
exactly,
see what it is.
I'll get some pictures and I'll forward it
That'd
to
be
you.
John and Jay.
That sounds good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
because I can't get out there till after 3:30. So.
That'll teach you a good job.
Okay, is there anything else on new business? Jay, do you have new business? I mean,
One of
it's-
us new business. I'm resigning after tonight's meeting because I'm being appointed as city treasurer, or county treasurer, I mean,
congratulations on that.
and I can't do both. So, thanks for the good time.
Do you have it in writing?
Good time to have
Because I was going to give you a paper to write it down.
You can
Thank
get it
you.
notarized. Whether we can accept it.
So, Jay has turned in his
Notarized my own
resignation.
signature, but
I need everybody to vote on accepting Jay's resignation.
I don't want to, but I'll make the, you
Go
make
ahead,
it?
no, go.
Oh, I don't want to, but I'll make the motion to accept James'
We have to have a
resignation.
motion.
I don't think we have to have a motion.
We just accept his
Accept
resignation.
his
Accept,
Yes.
Donna, yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We're all voting no.
Kenny,
without-
John says
Then he
no.
has to resign.
Okay.
I'm the city of the county treasurer. One of the things I'd like to do is see the handbook through. So if I apologize, honestly, I worked till 1:30 last night. I thought I was doing so good. And I thought I'm going to send this off, and they're going to be able to look at it all day. Apologize, but anyway, if I can do that, I mean, I wouldn't be certainly a voting member, but I would be able to.
Actually, you'd be better, you'd be an
Through.
open line presenting it to the rest of us.
If that's okay with everybody, I'm not. If someone wants it, please do it. That's not. The handbooks. If you look at,
I don't think
here we
anybody
go.
wants to make any adjustments to it.
Well, you
I mean,
don't
they
have
will.
to.
I mean, it's not all you're going to do is
But-
do any adjustments to it once they all look at it. So
When you look at
or whenever Chris,
what I send you,
states,
this is the old one, and it's really kind of like your report you turned in when you were in high school. This
Yeah, there's not much there.
There's not much here. And when the template that I took off, it can't cover everything, but it's from the ICMRT, which is who municipalities deal with. Here's a picture of. I put a picture of the water tower on the front page. You know, it's really kind of glitzy. So
awesome.
I was pretty excited because I thought,
Actually, isn't that where the sexual harassment policy generated?
Yes, that is where
you
I
guys
see
adopted
that we all had to. Yeah,
Yes,
this
you
past
got
fall.
that, and yes.
So this thing should be, I mean, what I actually did was go look for what you gave me to go by, because I was just going to copy and paste it. Well, then I found this one, and it's
better.
much better.
That's awesome.
I think it's much better. So
I know I didn't get on there, but I need to say something about out there, water plant. You talked about that roof earlier. I need to get somebody to put ridge cap, whether you're wanting us did or get Jason or whatever, but roundhouse was like a rainforest, and that wind yesterday, took some more of the ridge cap off of the main water plant. It's just, if they're fiberglass and they're just breaking up bad.
So you're saying ridge cap on the roundhouse and the main.
is it an insurance issue?
I mean,
Depends
the
how
whole
much it
floor
costs
was
to
just
replace it.
completely wet in the roundhouse this morning.
Probably need to get it priced.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is it on
Have
the
it
building
done
that
laying
shown
back in the
was
well.
built?
There we go.
yeah. I mean,
Look at that, fill the well up.
There you go.
actually,
The water came in?
But believe it or not, water is coming out of the top of well 1 and 2.
Awesome.
Maynard, when he called me Sunday or Saturday, or I don't know what day it was, Saturday or Sunday.
It's a good problem to have.
It He said, well, good note, he said water's coming out of the top of the wells again, so it's taken, first rain hit February 19th, I think, is when I got it logged, and it's finally making a difference out there. So,
that will just won't do
You put it on there in case you need it.
and next week, weather permitting, 5th and 6th, we're gonna be flushing hydrants.
Jason and have
What day?
him come out and
5th and 6th.
look at it and give us
Should be
an
Thursday,
estimate
Friday.
whenever it dries up at this point.
Well, he's hoping
You know,
it'll,
same thing there, don't you think?
Yeah, it'll be, but he can give us our estimate at least, you
I don't mind doing
know.
it.
I mean, give an estimate of what to do.
I seen him and he said he's hoping a week.
Yeah.
It's raining.
He's done out there at that house.
Yeah, I think there's a few odds and ends, but Kelowna says he's pretty much done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was colder than
Yeah, just have him come out and give an estimate. All right, is there anything else in new business that we need to discuss? If not, let's go to executive session.
I'll make the motion.
Motion to exec, Jay. I need a second. Go to executive. Great. All right. Thank you all.
8 to 10.